All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at how global music dominance is achieved through the calculated science of language. We live in an era where massive stadium filling pop hits cross borders faster than ever before. But, when a group breaks out internationally, what's actually happening under the hood of their music? Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating, a sociolinguistic analysis showing how one of the biggest names in music today isn't just singing catchy tunes, they're actively engineering a cultural phenomenon, literally, word by carefully chosen word. So, how do you dominate global music without losing your roots? You might think breaking into the global scene means abandoning your local identity, right? Like watering down your culture just to appeal to a Western or international audience. But what if the secret to global domination is actually the exact opposite? What if the real key is in how you strategically mix your words, fusing the local with the global to create a brand new, highly infectious linguistic blend? And that brings us to code switching. Now, you might hear people drop an English word into a sentence of another language and honestly think nothing of it. But code switching isn't just some arbitrary language mixing just to sound cool. In the realm of music, it's a deliberate, powerful linguistic tool. It's a highly strategic resource that artists use to build hybrid identities, connect with incredibly diverse audiences, and, quite literally, conquer the global charts. To understand exactly how this works in practice, we're looking at a brilliant sociolinguistic study from RSIS International. This research didn't just look at broad music trends. It took a magnifying glass to the lyricism of the leading Philippine pop, or P-pop, group SB19. By applying rigorous sociolinguistic frameworks, the researchers uncovered the hidden mechanics behind their massive international appeal. The researchers meticulously analyzed 10 of SB19's massive hits. We're talking everything from Go Up to Gento and Calical. They tracked every single instance where the group shifted languages. And hey, we aren't just talking about Tagalog and English here. The study tracks switches between Tagalog, English, Bisaya, Spanish, and even Japanese. They pinpointed the exact moments the language shifted, identifying a total of 129 specific instances of code switching across these tracks. Moving on to Section 1, the anatomy of a lyric, breaking down the switches. Based on Poplak's linguistic framework, out of those 129 recorded language switches, the data shows that intersentential switching is the undeniable favorite, making up over 41% of the shifts. This is followed closely by intersentential at around 36%, and finally, tag switching at about 22%. But what do these terms actually mean for the music you're jamming out to? Let's look at the most popular one, intrasentential switching. This is when the language changes mid-sentence or mid-phrase. Take this lyric from their hit, Bazinga. Notice how they seamlessly integrate the English phrase, yeah, make me, and the word hate, directly into the grammatical structure of a single Tagalog line. This showcases extreme linguistic fluency. It proves they aren't just pasting random words together, they're weaving them into a single cohesive thought that strictly adheres to the grammar of both languages. Then we have the second most common type, intersentential. This is where the shift happens across consecutive lines or complete sentences. For example, SB19 will deliver a complete consecutive thought entirely in Tagalog, like saying, I know I'm not the absolute best, before totally flipping to a full, aggressive thought in English. Got no biz with all of you, please. It basically acts as a lyrical 1-2 punch, using the shift in language to signal a huge shift in attitude or tone. Finally, we have tag switching. This is the use of quick, repetitive expressions, fillers, or interjections. Think of a line delivered in Tagalog, punctuated immediately by an English shout in the background vocals, like a loud, what? These tags don't change the grammatical structure of the sentence at all. Instead, they're inserted to add an immediate, visceral, emotional punch right into the lyric. Section 2, Function over Form. Why SB19 switches languages. So the researchers didn't just count the words. They mapped them to Blom and Gumperidge's sociolinguistic functions to figure out exactly why this happens. When we look at the functional data, it reveals that a category called marking personality, or TMPO for short, heavily dominates the pack at 34%. This means the language switches are primarily engineered to express confidence, stance, and identity. When they switch languages, they're actively stamping their unique personality right onto the track. Let's look at a concrete example of this personality marking. In their breakout song, Go Up, we see exactly how this builds intensity. The lyric starts with a Tagalog setup about falling down multiple times, but the emotional climax of the phrase, the confident, personal assertion that they will rise, is delivered in English. Yeah, we gonna go up. The English phrase acts as this powerful anchor of self-assertion, layered flawlessly onto the emotional vulnerability of that Tagalog setup. The second highest function, coming in at over 26%, is the use of interjections. This proves that these linguistic switches are deeply intrinsically tied to the rhythm itself. Throwing in an English yeah or ooh doesn't just sound good, it maintains rhythmic continuity, enhances emotional emphasis, and keeps the listener totally hooked without ever breaking the song's structural flow. It's essentially the linguistic glue holding the beat together. Another really fascinating function is reiteration. Sometimes they literally repeat the exact same meaning across both languages, back to back. Salamat, thank you very much. Now, you might think this is redundant, but sociolinguistically, it's brilliant. It reinforces the emphasis, making the lyrics incredibly patchy and completely memorable for a dual language audience, ensuring that no matter which language is your primary one, the gratitude lands perfectly. Section 3. Building a hybrid identity. The socio-linguistic impact. Zooming out to the macro level, what SB19 is actively doing here is constructing a modern hybrid identity. By blending Tagalog and regional languages like Bisaya with global languages like English, Japanese, and Spanish, this isn't just some gimmick. It directly mirrors how young multilingual audiences actually speak today. It acts as an indexical marker of competence, showing they're highly educated, culturally fluid global citizens who are entirely comfortable navigating multiple worlds at once. The evolution of their identity is pretty striking. Though they debuted under a Korean entertainment company, ShowBT, and were totally trained in the K-pop system, they didn't just copy a prepackaged formula. They infused that high production framework with genuine Filipino language and identity. And this authenticity led to them eventually founding their own company, 1Z Entertainment, and even being named official cultural ambassadors by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. Section 4, Global Reach, Local Roots. Breaking linguistic barriers. This brings us to the absolute masterstroke revealed in the study. Code switching acts as a vital key for accessibility. Injecting English into their tracks serves as a welcoming bridge, inviting an international audience into the music. A global listener catches those English hooks, which draws them right in, while the Tagalog and Bisaya verses ensure that core Filipino themes and experiences remain the absolute beating heart of the track. It breaks down barriers entirely without erasing the origin. As the group themselves have stated, we are grounded by Filipino culture and values. Thus, we are keen on promoting it and the P-pop genre on the global music scene. Their ultimate goal isn't just fame, it's to promote their culture on the global stage. They're using language as a vehicle to position P-pop not as a niche regional genre, but as something universally relevant and completely undeniable. Ultimately, this RSIS research confirms that code switching in music is far more than a stylistic quirk. It's a powerful, highly strategic linguistic resource. By mastering it, SB19 is driving cultural elevation, promoting massive inclusivity, and forging an unprecedented global connection that bridges East and West seamlessly. So, the next time you stream a massive global hit, don't just bob your head to the beat. Listen closely to the lyrics. Notice when the language shifts, and ask yourself the big question: what language are they actually teaching you to speak? Consider the brilliant, calculated cultural exchange happening right inside your headphones. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your ears open.